Do we want to do a little intro?
We should do an intro, yeah. Hello everybody, my name is Andrew Shattuck and this is
Ellie Martin, the SU Volunteer Coordinator.
I'm the SU President. I probably should have preferenced was that, and this is our final round 3 overview video. Today we'll be getting into the nitty-gritty of what you guys have been giving us in terms of information and what we've allocated to staff and what the response have been. So, I'm your SU President. Are you ready, Ellie?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
So the feedback that we're going to talk about today is specifically from our third round of forums, as Andrew said, which happened, when was that? End of April? Beginning of May? End of April.
End of April.
End of April.
Last week.
So yeah, there hasn't been a lot of time between then and now because unfortunately Andrew is leaving us in the SU on, well, it'll be this Thursday. Is that the 21st of May?
Working till Friday now.
Oh, working till Friday,
Yeah.
22nd of May.
Yeah.
So we don't have a lot of time, but we have managed to get as many responses as possible from staff. But some of these things probably won't come into fruition until after Andrew's left, which is really sad, but hopefully we'll have some responses by September. So to begin, I'm going to start with cost of living. So similarly to the first and second rounds, there are a lot of students out there that are struggling at the moment, both in the college and university when it comes to cost of living. It is really, really tricky at the moment financially for everybody, but especially students. And we, of course, had loads of individual pieces of feedback that we then passed on to our cost of living group. But unfortunately, they can't meet until the middle of June, which again is after Andrew will have left. So we will make sure that we have any outcomes kind of publicised by September. But we wanted to narrow it down to 3 really specific questions, things that we thought were really actionable for the cost of living group to take away and discuss in particular alongside all of the feedback. So those 3 questions were: could Hartpury explore late night low cost transport options such as minibus shuttles with clearly advertised times to and from any of the SU/Butlers events that we're now holding in Butlers in Gloucester? So that students could not have to rely on the surge-priced taxis that are available outside of Butlers at around like 3-4 a.m. in the morning. So that was essentially providing a cheaper, more accessible kind of transport option to and from Gloucester after a night out. And then there was: is there scope to review and improve communication and transparency around high-cost opportunities, such as any international trips that some of the courses offer, or other all-student opportunities such as summer ball, including early indication of full costs and what is not included? And then, should student finance processes for bursary-funded accommodation be reviewed to minimise repeated information requests and reduce the need for students to chase updates? This is basically just streamlining the process if you are in receipt of a bursary for accommodation. All of those 3 questions were chosen due to student feedback that we had received, and we thought that they were really actionable and something that the cost of living group could probably come up with an answer for by September. So we will keep you updated with any outcomes of that, but please rest assured that it's definitely really, really high on our priority list still, and Hartpury's as a whole, so it definitely will be discussed.
As for every forum, one of the standing items on our agenda is: how is your transport home to campus? That can be anything from parking to the bus service to even you driving in your car. A lot of these themes, especially on the bus service, were reoccurring. So pricing, inconsistent timings. We passed on this information, which I'll summarize in a second, exactly what students said. The answer was: there's a new transport manager coming in, his name is Connor. We'll be able to have conversations so we can hit the ground running in September when the service runs again. So some of the things that Mick, which is the person who takes care of the contract, they told us that there's ongoing work with Staxi, which is an app to explore a new parking scheme for next academic year. Recent discussions with Zillow about improving how students report issues and ensuring better response processes. Now, I do want to preference this, that Zillow are currently working on a day-by-day approach, which means that most of your feedback, if not all of it, will be resolved within 1 day or 24 hours. The way they do this is they prioritize it from a scale of 1 to 4, 4 being high priority, like behavioral or key safeguarding issues, and 1 being those minor problems, which I wouldn't be able to give you an exact definition of what that is, but they do try to respond all of them within those 24 hours, prioritizing the more severe issues. And that leads me straight into this next point, which Mick says there's plans for a seamless communication between Hartpury Transport and Zelo, supported by Connor's arrival. Again, Connor is the transport manager that we've been lacking for the last couple of months. So hopefully this new addition will be able to reinstate some more clear, seamless communication, preferably some really good benefits to transport. There's also plans for proposed new college routes designed to shorten journey times, which is really positive. And also that will build in delay buffers and increase service resilience. And he also requested clarification on a couple of points, which we're able to respond to. But overall, with the SU's collaboration with transport, ongoing communication, the addition of potential bundles and the return ticket coming back, which could be a thing yet to be confirmed, but it's definitely something that we're pushing forward.
Another standing agenda item in our third round of rep forums was around catering, specifically kind of students' experiences with catering on campus, whether that's in the feed room, up at the farm, with the van, or in Grays. And again, we had quite a lot of feedback about this round, and we are really grateful to the fact that Liam and Natalie from Aramark work very, very, very closely with the SU. We meet with them on a monthly basis, so we managed to catch them last week to talk about all the feedback as a whole. But again, similarly to cost of living, we narrowed it down to a few questions. It was a bit more than 3 this time, to specifically ask Liam and Natalie, because we thought these were quite clear, concise, actionable questions. So we're going to go through them one by one now for you. So the first question that we asked is the spoodle, which is essentially a piece of equipment that standardises portion sizes at mealtime, effectively used across the whole day, including peak times where students report variety. And they let us know that yes, the spoodle size is set and used start to finish throughout the whole day. There should never be any variance in portion sizes, but of course, if you do ever notice any variance, please either let them know there and then on the day as soon as possible, or come and let us know, because this is something we really want to keep track of.
The second question is, how does the feed room currently adapt to variable student demand overall, and specifically on-the-go options such as chips? This comes as a result of feedback of students saying the feed rooms, which is an area where you can get food in the equine or close to the equine arena, saying that during peak times, that 11 or 12 to 2 p.m., they're running out of their favorite food and on-the-go options like chips and maybe some sandwiches in the fridge. The overall answer is that the feed room works like any other branch of Aramark. There's a guy, James in this case, that runs around in this group chat where they ask for food, and it's very rare for them to run out, but sometimes during peak times, or if there is demand from multiple places at the same time, they can find themselves slightly overcrowded and may not be able to suffice that demand. I don't know if that's an exact word or English at all, but we're going to go with it.
The next question that we asked was, are the ULH ovens fixed for heating up food? Our students are still reporting partially heated food. Liam was well aware of this issue, and he let us know that the current oven in the ULH is being replaced by another machine which was previously used in Grays, I believe, and has stopped working and was repaired recently. This is because the old oven was of a different brand and basically wasn't fit for purpose for what they were wanting to do in the ULH. And the plan was to replace this during the week commencing the 11th of May, which is actually the week before we are filming this video, so hopefully that's already in place. This new machine should also be a lot faster and should only take about 1.5 minutes to heat up food rather than 4 minutes plus, which should help with any queue times. Liam did want to specifically let us know that any of the hot boxes that you order, whether that's in the ULH or Grays, they are meant to be taken away and heated by you rather than at the place that you're buying it. Preferably in a microwave and not in the Costa or the red and blacks ovens behind the till, just because those ovens were not made for that purpose and the hot boxes were meant to be taken away. So that's hopefully something that they're going to start addressing from now, I believe, but definitely from September.
The third question we asked is how much more dinner variety has been introduced since the second round of forums. This comes, again, as a consequence of the fact we passed that on, and Liam has since introduced a new head chef. This new head chef was supposed to come and bring in new variety, head up some new ideas, and hopefully facilitate what they can deliver and what food they have on offer. Now, I gotta say that it hasn't been too long since this chef's been introduced. I think it's only been a couple of months, so they're still developing into their role. As a result of the third round reforms, we saw that students are still unhappy with the variety, and the 3-week menu cycle still hasn't been changed. But some of the recurring menu items like chicken on the bone should only be introduced every 3 weeks, and I do have confidence in the fact that there should be more menu variety going forward, specifically into the next academic year.
The next question was, how are meals monitored for student demand during dinner time in Grays, and is there a way to limit it running out? Liam let us know that it's a very hard balance to kind of make sure that there's enough food on the hot plates for student demand, but also try and reduce food waste, which is a massive priority for Aramark. But he also let us know that lunch and evening meals sold are tracked, which then helps them prepare for future lunch and dinner time. So they kind of see what the sales were like previously and then adapt how much food they have on offer in relation to that. And he let us know that this has been working because historically food at dinner time used to run out by 5:30 p.m, but he is saying that this doesn't happen anymore and it is much improved. So yeah, I think it is definitely a really hard balance to get between not having loads of food waste, but also ensuring that there is food all the way up to the end of the service time, and also ensuring that all of the options are still available and not just like one choice by the end of the service. So again, this was something that Liam definitely acknowledged is to be improved on, but there are definitely the most positive steps being made in the right direction.
As part of this new head chef coming in, one of the questions and key themes that Liam pointed out is the potential addition of more cheaper options that you can pick up, and some homemade sandwiches that the chef would make in-house and then be able to present for you to buy. They're not ready yet, but there is more confidence that maybe going into September, when Liam has filled a vacant chef position that he currently has, they may have more staffing ability to be able to do more expansion on what they currently offer. But again, as I said just now, they do have a vacant staff position, which then leads to a lot of hands-on, I can imagine, work for this new head chef. That may find it more difficult to expand what they already offer and take up other people's roles currently. But hopefully, as I said, in September, this vacant role will be filled, and there may be more cheaper pasta or sometimes different options for you to have access to.
The next question was, is there any way of improving the clarity of allergens on online or in-person menus? Liam let us know that the app should be 100% accurate. But if there is a menu item that is changed last minute, there is a chance that this won't be updated on the app. So for example, if it's changed same day, but they make their best effort to try and make any changes at least the day before this change is due to take place. So yeah, basically they just really wanted us to promote the Social Kitchen app, which there are QR codes all throughout Grays for it, if you're not too sure where to find it. And yeah, that has the full 3-week rolling menu cycle on there. And if you click on any of the different meal options, it should have a full list of allergens. However, if you don't have access to the app right now, you are more than welcome to speak to the servers or the chefs in Grays or in the feed room or wherever you are on campus, and they should be able to give you a full rundown of the allergen list of the meals that they are serving that day. We also had a few other additional kind of comments from Liam that he wanted us to share that weren't related to those specific questions, but they were related more widely to the feedback that we passed over. And firstly, on the same topic of allergens, Liam has let us know that allergens and dietary requirements are now listed on the salad bar in Grays, which they weren't previously, which is a massive improvement. We also had some comments from gluten-free students and kind of some of their concerns around the kind of advertisement of what is and what isn't gluten-free. And he let us know that they are encouraged to ask the chefs for specially made meals because those meals will not be put on the hot plates or on the counter due to the risk of cross-contamination and also cost. So for example, if he was to bulk make a whole massive portion of gluten-free food and that was only eaten by a few students, and that would be a huge amount of food waste. So it is kind of a balance between reducing waste but also ensuring that there is no cross-contamination. He says that this is advertised on the screens in Grays and at the counter, but if you are not comfortable approaching someone in Grays, then he is more than happy to receive any emails from students or just pop up to him and ask him a question, because he's more than happy to facilitate that, and he has done that for other students in the past as well. So if Andrew could put his email on the screen. Sorry, Andrew, that'd be great.
It's okay. It's right there, guys.
There were also some comments about lunch service finishing at 2 p.m, and a lot of students have lectures that finish at 2, so there isn't time to quickly run to Grays for any lunch. And Liam has said that he will look into potentially prolonging the service from next academic year until 2:30, so hopefully anybody who has lectures that finish on the hour should have half an hour to get some lunch. Not a promise, but something he said he's going to look into. And then finally, we had some comments about the cost of some of the food provision down at Equine, specifically the burger van. Liam has let us know that the burger van is not run by Aramark. That is an external company, so he has no control over the cost. And all weekend kind of activities and shows in Equine were provided externally up until December of 2025, and that has recently been taken over by Aramark, but he has let us know that this weekend service is for competitors and visitors for the events, not for students, and therefore that is why the prices might be higher than you would expect, because it is not a service fundamentally made for students.
One of the key focuses for the SU this year was try to engage as many students as possible, and we've done that in a lot of different ways. But students have gone back to us seeing if we could increase what we already have. And one of the things that were recommended, which is getting more local businesses to come on campus, and maybe some more collaborations with Club One, which is a club in Gloucester. We already collaborate with Butlers, which is a student-focused nightclub in Gloucester, and that's been going really well. We've had 2 nights out that staff have gone and been able to give free candy, floss, and merch, and it's been really well received. But we'll open our eyes to these opportunities, especially Club One, and potentially next year see if we can get some more local businesses come in and collaborate with the students. We'll look into this, and hopefully there'll be some really positive things to come in the future.
One of the main themes of our third round of forums was investigating students' opinions into kind of the spaces available to both college and university students on campus in regards to study, but also for us, more importantly, social space, because we understand it is something that is lacking for a lot of students. And we received a lot of feedback about this. So we're going to break it into 2 halves. The first half was there were a lot of students who were asking for more kind of social sports opportunities on campus. I think some of the students were asking for like time slots in the sports halls that they could go in and just use with their friends rather than it being a staff-led session, and some more opportunities for playing sports outdoors, kind of like on the lawns or in a lot of the green spaces that we have on campus, which at the moment are not particularly utilised by anything. So we sent this over to Hartpury Active, which is our internal department responsible for recreational sport and social sport here on campus. And they let us know that increasing the use of indoor sports space is quite tricky due to the timetabling on campus. They are very highly in demand, and Hartpury Active struggle to book out the sports hall for their own scheduled sessions, never mind kind of open sessions for students. So that might be a potential barrier and might make this quite restrictive. They also let us know that sessions in the sports hall do need to have some type of supervision due to issues in the past with damage to equipment when they're not supervised. However, they did let us know that there are multiple black boxes around campus which contain loads of different equipment, from kind of, I think, volleyball through to potentially, like, I know in the past there were like frisbees in there and stuff like that. Just very like easy accessible things for students to use on their own, no staff supervision. So that's definitely something that they wanted us to promote. The kind of remark that they left on was they would love to get a better idea of the times that students would like to do more sports around their lectures, to see if they can run any more sessions than what they already offer. And they also wanted to know whether students are aware of the 2 outdoor table tennis tables in the Rudgley quad and the Limbury quad, as this is something that the SU and Hartpury Active can do more promotion of if you don't think that students are widely aware of these. And we can also investigate potentially moving them if students think it would be better for them to be located elsewhere.
A part of this feedback, or what we're trying to collate from students, was how can we improve our own space, or the SU building. Because of the addition of the UL8 for university students, we really wanted to see if college students had enough social space, what the space looked like, and if they'd use any redesigned space. We'd also gathered a lot of information from university students as well, and we created a proposal that highlights some of the key focuses that students like, don't like, and if there's anything that we can add to our building, if any potential funding is given, we can have a plan of action as a foundation to any building or refurbishments. Another positive thing that the SU has been working on is the addition of benches around campus. Now, you may see around Hartpury, if you're a Hartpury student, how beautiful it is, but we don't think as student union that it gets utilized the best way possible, especially for students that may have accessibility needs. Sometimes it's just nice to come sit down, to take a little break, and then walk by and into a new site to see. And it's now been taken to S&T and approved, so hopefully next academic year you can go somewhere on campus and sit down and have a beautiful view.
And finally, of course, we had so much positive feedback come through in this third round of forums. There were so many students who had such lovely things to say about their tutors or their lecturers or any other kind of staff members on campus. So we don't have time to go through all of them because honestly there were so many. But Andrew and I made sure to pass on every single one of them to those staff members and also to their line manager as well, just so everybody knows how well appreciated they are. And it was so lovely to have their responses come back. So if you want to see kind of step by step everybody's responses, please feel free to have a look on the big kind of outcomes document that is also located on the SU website. So if you passed on some positive feedback about someone, you can have a look what they said about it. So yeah, thank you so much for all of the positive feedback you sent over, because it really does make everybody's day.
This is the end of our video. This is me and Ellie signing out for the 25-26 season. It's been amazing working with all student reps and the students who are involved in allocating this feedback to staff and getting those actions. But for now, this is your update, and this is Andrew and Ellie signing out. Mic drop.